Welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. It's cool here today in Alabama and it feels so good outside. But this morning when I got up, I thought, I want to make a chicken pot pie today. So the first thing I did was I took 4 chicken breasts and I went ahead and put them in a boiler with water and cooked them until they were done. And then I'm going to be pausing this video several times so you can see the finished product, and it is in stages. Now the chicken is already cooked. This recipe is in my cookbook. It's on page 28. Someone gave me this recipe many years ago and I can't remember who it was, but it's easy. Now it does have several steps and ingredients, but it's not that hard and it's so worth it. But the recipe calls for you to keep 2 cups of the broth from where you cooked your chicken. And that's what I did. I put the broth in a boiler, and it says to take 2 carrots and slice them very thin. And to go ahead and cook those just a little bit in the broth because it takes carrots longer to cook. And that's what I have done. And I'll tell you, I didn't have the big carrots. I just had the baby carrots. And I just chopped what I thought would be 2 cups. And I have already cooked those, and they're not mushy, but they are cooked enough that I'll add my next ingredients, which was a 1/3 cup of chopped onion. Well, I didn't measure the 1/3 cup out. I had a 1/2 of an onion, and I just chopped it, and I'm going to add it. And then the recipe calls for 4 potatoes. It said cubed small, so I put them in my food chopper, and that's about the size of them. And I'm going to go ahead and add those, and it's not going to take long because these potatoes are not real big. The recipe also calls for 2 I think it's 2 stalks of celery. No, it calls for a 1/2 cup of chopped celery. But y'all, I didn't have any celery. So what I'm doing is I'm not going to put it in there, because when these potatoes get soft and it's time to take them off, the other ingredients that I add will take care of the celery. But to keep from making such a long video, we're going to pause this until the potatoes are soft, and then I'll be back. Welcome back. All right, I let the potatoes and onions cook until they were a little soft, but not fully cooked, because we're going to put them in the oven in just a little bit, so you don't want them to be mushy. So that's what I did, and this is what it looks like, the potatoes and the onions and carrots. Okay, now those of you who already have the recipe book, you saw that it called for the chopped celery, and I didn't have that. Now to this, you're going to leave it just like that, what it cooked in, the 2 cups of chicken broth and your carrots and potatoes, onions, and if you had the celery. Okay, now it says to this to add 1 can of cream of chicken soup. All right, I'm going to add that to this. And while I'm telling you, those of you who cook a lot and have cooked for as many years as I have, you know if you don't have something that the recipe calls for, you just add something differently. It called for a can of cream of celery soup, and I really thought I had it. when I went to the pantry, I didn't. So I'm going to put another can of cream of chicken soup because it called for 2 cans of soup. All right, I know without having to say anything that somebody is going to say how unhealthy this is. You don't need to cook this, but we eat it. So don't worry about it. If you think there's too much processed in cream of chicken and all that, don't worry about it. Just don't cook it. All right, since I didn't have the cream of celery soup, I'm going to take some celery seed. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little in that. And that'll give it just a little of the taste that the cream of celery would have. Maybe a half of a teaspoon. But if you have the celery, the cream of celery, you would not do that. Then it calls for an 8-ounce can of English peas, sweet peas. But I didn't have an 8-ounce can. I had the 15, so I drained it. And I'm going to put about half of it in there. All right. Then the salt is 1 teaspoon of salt. And it the recipe calls for a half a teaspoon of pepper. But y'all, I really love pepper, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a half because that's what the recipe calls for. All right. I'm mixing all of that together. Harold, can you let them see? It's creamy. Very, very creamy. Okay. Then I told you that I had cooked my chicken breast, and I chopped the 4 chicken breasts, and you know I really don't know if I'm going to have room in this pan right here. If I don't, I'll add it when I put it in my dish, but maybe I will. Now, let me see. Okay, using my hands again, but that's okay. And you know what? That may be. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit. And what's left, I cooked extra chicken breast. Eat it, Scout, you're okay. I cooked extra chicken breast to make some chicken salad, so I'll just add that with it. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I have sprayed a 9x13 pan with Pam, and I'm going to pour this in it. You know, I don't know, but on cold days, I like soup or beef stew, and it's not cold in Alabama. It's just a very comfortable, cool day. But I'll go ahead and add the rest of that now. All right. Okay. Let me set this right here. And then my recipe calls for 1 can of crescent rolls. And I've got some wax paper right here so I can put it on there when I take it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to leave it into the section as I unroll it. May have to just do a half at a time. But this is what you do. You're going to put your crescent roll on top. This one. All right. And the very last thing the recipe tells you to do is to melt a half a stick of butter. And then you're just going to spread it over the crescent rolls. I'm still trying to not talk so much. Y'all, if every other day I have someone who will say, I like your recipes, but you talk too much. So I'm trying not to, but you know, I'm me. And I know some of you don't mind my talking, so that's okay. Can't please everybody. All right, now it's ready to go into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. 350 degrees for 30 minutes or until this top is golden brown. So I have preheated my oven. I'm going to put it in there. Set my timer for 30 minutes. And then we will be back again to show you the finished product. Okay, the pot pie has only been in the oven 26 minutes. It was supposed to be 30, but I checked it and it's golden brown. So I'm taking it out. See how pretty and golden brown. It's bubbly and everything. I'm not going to cut into it right now because it's too hot. But you see exactly what it looks like, and I guess you can see along the bottom. But this is going to be a real good supper tonight, and as you saw, it's not that hard to do or anything. But I want to give you a little update on Blake. I got a message from his mom this morning, and he's up to 2 pounds and 15 ounces. So you know what's next. He's going to hit the 3-pound mark. He is just doing great, and all I can do is give God the glory for it because he has so many obstacles. It's not just that he's a preemie, but he has a chromosomal disorder that some of the things could have been very bad, but you know, he's just showing out. That's all I can say is God is so good, and we are so blessed. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with you, and let me tell you, when the new cookbooks come in, we're going to have plenty. I called back 2 days ago, no, Monday. I called Monday, and I told them I want my order doubled. I said, but now I don't want it to delay these, and they said it wouldn't. So we're going to have plenty, the good Lord willing, and nothing happens, that we'll be able to catch up. That's my goal, is to catch up on all of these who have placed orders weeks ago. But I have to thank you again for it. Y'all, I want to tell you, my sweet little friend that has been making my recipe cards has been doing it out of the goodness of her heart. But she works in our school during the day. She has 2 little girls that one is in dance competition, and she is extremely busy. And my friend also is a photographer, and now is her busiest time with Santa pictures, Christmas pictures, and everything. So I'm not going to send her these anymore. I'm just going to try to copy a recipe and see if I can just put it in the photos. If I can't do it, if it's not there, you'll know I couldn't do it, but I'm trying. But y'all, before I go, I want to tell all of you to let's make a point of being kind to others. You know, we don't know when we meet someone what they're going through. They may feel like they're unworthy, they may feel like they don't have any friends. But a smile goes a long way, and just to speak and say, hey, how are you today? But anyway, you be salt and light. because Matthew 5:13-16 tells us about salt and light. Thank you so much for following me, and we'll be back soon.
And